Curry's discussion of the idea of interface has me thinking that what I want my interface to be is the interaction between reading and writing. That's kind of the central dynamic I want my course to capture. I'm not so sure how well I've done that, but I'll show you a few of the ways I've attempted to do that. First of all, when the students come into the course, there is right here on the home page a reminder of our course guiding question, which definitely gets at the link between what we're reading and what we're writing, because basically our papers are attempts to answer that question about the literature that we're reading. And the discussions of the reading that we do are meant to scaffold the students toward answers to this larger question on the paper level. Quick sidebar, my students have 3 ways of accessing work in the course. They can do so through the course calendar, where they will find links to the assignments. I'm going to see, I wanted to look at, So if they click on here, they get a link to the assignments for Friday, September 15th. But they also can get to the assignments here through a list of due dates on the course homepage. But what you'll notice is that takes them to the same place. And finally, the third route that they can go, very few go this way, is they can go the modules route and find the work for that date. But again, in the modules route, the access is sequenced the same way. They start with the assignment page and work their way through. So while there are 3 different ways in course, their own student Canvas calendar, my course calendar on the homepage, or the modules, they'll take them to the same place, which is this assignment page. And my assignment pages are basically checklists of things for the students to do, sequenced in the order I'd like them to follow, with time estimates for how long that should take. I usually shoot for 5 to 6 hours of work for each of 2 deadlines a week. This is a 4-unit 201 course, so the students should be spending 12 hours a week. Okay, now here's where I'm not as sure that my efforts to focus on the link between reading and writing about literature are as successful. You can see here that I have 4 different portals, 4 different organized activities for the students to get them bringing their reading and writing together. The first is the synchronous session with me, and those students who do not attend can watch the video and answer some discussion questions, and they do that in the space below. And you can see there's some pretty substantive work there. And then once they've participated in that discussion or watched it, commented on it, they move into finishing the novel. In this case, we're reading Mark Twain's Connecticut Yankee. And basically, I for Connecticut Yankee, took a guided reading approach where I would give them mini lectures about the chapters they would read, and then they would go in and read and annotate the text, and then they would join a discussion where they'd be asked to comment on the text in some way. In this case, I had a pretty narrow approach. I wanted them to look at the end of the book and engage with some of the illustrations in the book, but many of my discussions will give them 3, 4, even 5 options for topics they can explore, and even encourage them to come up with their own topic. Wanted to show you one of these mini lectures really quickly so you can see what that looks like. These are my attempts to sort of activate schema a little bit to get them thinking about what's coming in the reading before they read it. What I recommend they do is read my little blurb about the chapter, then go read the chapter, read my little blurb about the chapter, then go read the chapter. And you can see I have in a lot of these illustrations that I want them thinking about and dialoguing with. So this is where we see the work I'm doing with having them do their reading in hopefully a productive, annotative, thoughtful way, and discussing it before they move on to writing about it. And then if we go back to our checklist, you can see there are two different writing activities listed there. One is a passage journal. These are places where I have students collect and comment on passages from the reading that they think might work in their paper. And as you can see, they did 6 for Connecticut Yankee, which meant they ended up with anywhere between about 15 and 25 passages that they pulled from the novel related to the idea about agency and either gender or class or technology that they wanted to talk about. And then the writing activity, the major writing activity, is they were pulling together a draft that they had done. They had been for several sessions before this developing body paragraphs for a paper. And I asked them to pull them together on one Google Doc, do some revision based on the feedback and the guidance they've been given, and then post a link to that sort of combined draft. And so I include links to all the lectures where I explain to them how to do the things I'm asking them to pull together. And then in their post, they provide the link to their draft and some comments on the paragraphs, how they revised them, how they improved them based on the resources that were available to them. So that's a basic quick snapshot of my course structure and how I try to bring together reading and writing, mixing together different modalities inside Canvas. Hope this is helpful, and I hope it is by no means seen as the way, just one person's attempt to figure out a way that matches the logic of my course with techniques that I think help the students access the work. Thanks, everybody.